All right, welcome back to season 3 of our show, and it's ribeye steaks. We're firing up the cooker today to show you some beautiful ribeye steaks along with our summer harvest, so stick around, don't go anywhere. All right, so it's steaks today, and we're cooking some beautiful ribeyes. Now these steaks are about 2.5 inches thick. That's how big these steaks are. That's how thick you want them, because by the time you cook these, they're gonna shrink down anyway, then you're stuck with this little bit of itty bitty meat. So you don't wanna do that. All right, so we're gonna season these with some rosemary and thyme. And we're using dry today on these steaks because we don't wanna wet them. The more moisture you put into steaks, and the more you wet that steak, so if we used a fresh marinade, it would just dampen the steak more, and we want a nice crust. So we're not gonna do that. So into our grinder we go. I'm gonna grind this up into a fine powder. So let's just pulse it. Yes, this is a coffee grinder, by the way. And the more you pulse it, the more it comes up from the bottom. So I'm gonna see what I'm working with. Nope, I still want it to go finer. And that should about do it. You can see that powder smoke coming up off of there, and there we go. All right, so we're gonna take this. Now here are our steaks. And the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get some salt on these. You want a good amount of that salt on them because they're pretty thick steaks. So let's just salt, front, back. And make sure you got a good amount on there, including all that nice fat on the sides. All right, now that you got your salt on here, we're gonna oil. That's some olive oil. You could use whatever oil you want. Let's get this one. All right, and now we have this nice bowl over here. So we're just gonna sprinkle some of that rub right in there. Dampen that side, right inside. Now you can just rub it in. Let's get a little bit more in here. And just do that side. Give them a spin, and now you can do your sides and pick up whatever's left in there. This smells beautiful. That's why you always want to grind all your spices down right before you're about to cook your meats. And like I said, when I do my steak, I love dry. All right, let's put that back. Same thing with this one. Get that in there. To the sides. Look at that. That's why you want to put it in the bowl like that, because you'll get a good coating on there. And just like that, it's done. Just rub it in. And now you have a couple of beautiful seasoned steaks. All right, I'm just gonna take this one and pick up all the salt that's left over on here. Put them in here. Now this one looks like it needs a little bit more oil, so I'm just gonna oil this one down just a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna clean up, and we're gonna meet you right back here to show you those veggies, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so we got those steaks seasoned and they're ready to go on the grill. And while we're doing that, let's prepare some vegetables. So the first thing we're gonna do is do some potatoes along with these steaks, because nothing says steaks like potato and steak, or steak and potatoes. So we're gonna take these potatoes. Now we're gonna bake these today, so I'm just gonna cut them in half like that. chop, 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 chop. And we're roasting these in a pan. So I got a cast iron right up underneath here, and then right into the cast iron pan they go. Because these are nice roasters. And we're gonna show you how to get this done. I'm gonna just put this back here, just for room. Again, chop. Slide your knife off. Now, if you want smaller pieces, you could just go smaller, like that. They don't have to be as big as the pieces I just did, and just come down at the end. So we're gonna get the chopping on these, and while we're chopping on these guys, let's just show you some vegetables. I'm gonna push this off to the side. So now I got some mushrooms, cauliflower. Most people don't know how to do cauliflower, so let's cut up our cauliflower first. So I'm just gonna cut the stalk off the bottom of here. That's how you would get into that. And I'm just gonna follow the cauliflower around and get my knife in here and just cut those end pieces off, just like that. And then I take my knife and just work it around, just like that, in a circle. And just get all those pieces off the bottom of the cauliflower. Let's discard these, because you're not going to use those pieces. And then you can kind of snap the rest off of here, like that. So depending how your cauliflower is going to be, you can do this a couple of ways. So we could just start taking our knife and working around the pieces like this, and just popping them out of there. Oops, just like that. Just take your knife. Once you get the first half started, and just work your way around the cauliflower. Just cut and push out a little bit, and you'll be fine. Just like that. Discard any other pieces that you see from the leaf. So we're just gonna work our way around, just like this, the crown. And now you have all of your cauliflower off. We're gonna discard this. And that's it. So now we got the cauliflower cut like that. You can cut it a few different ways, or you could just take it and just break it apart, which we're gonna do for this dish we're doing today. We're just gonna break it apart. We're gonna put that cauliflower right in there. So that's what you want, just break it apart and get it right in there. We're gonna leave these whole today and show you these whole. Okay, so we got our cauliflower done. The mushrooms, I'm just going to show you how to cut one of those. And now we're going to jump into one of these mushrooms. I'm just going to show you just a couple of these, how we're cutting them. So I did wash these. People tell you don't wash your mushrooms, but you always want to wash your mushrooms. Leave them out for about 15 minutes, and the amount of water that they absorb when you hit them with water is like barely nothing. It doesn't make a difference. So this thing about not washing your mushrooms, don't do that. So just come down, cut them like this. That's it. Because mushrooms grow in the dirt and they grow in different things, fertilizers. So just like that, that's how you cut them. Just move them down like that. And that's it. So that's how we're going to do our mushrooms. I'm just going to put these back for now. Now we're going to get into an onion. I'm going to show you guys how to cut an onion. So here's an onion with the skin on. What I like to do is take my knife. I'm going to go down like that. Cut the back off. Discard that. And then I'm going to cut it in half. Just like that. And I'm going to peel the first top layer off. Like that. Now you got that cut. Do the same thing. Peel the layer off. It's done, and just like that, your onion's finished. And now how we're gonna do these onions, I'm just gonna come down just like that. And that's it. That's how we're doing our onions today. All right, so I'm gonna take these onions. Now I'm putting the onions in with the cauliflower. I'm gonna put all those onions in with the cauliflower because it's gonna be an onion cauliflower dish. That's what we're doing. All right, so let's get back to these potatoes, and I'm gonna get these in the oven at 375 degrees, but I'm just gonna show you how to finish these off. So you can do it like this too. Put your potato down on the bench. You can go like that. Cut them that way. I'm gonna show you how to season these guys. It'll get stuck to the knife, but just pull it off. So there we go. And I'm just gonna feel it out. Here's my pan. I know this pan holds a lot. And I'm just gonna get all these potatoes into the pan. Now they are gonna shrink up. So what I find is if you cut them big, they won't shrink up and you'll be good to go. So let's just put these down. That's how I'm gonna leave mine. Kind of like a half moon. And the ones that are big like that, I just might wanna cut those again. So you just go through and look and see what you wanna cut again. Just cut them up. Doesn't make a difference how you cut them, just get them cut up. All right, so I'm gonna feel this out. These are my ratios, so I'm gonna just drag this over to here because we're gonna show you the next step on this right after this last step with these potatoes. All right, in we go. And even them out and just look around. Chop. If they're too big, that you feel they're too big, that's my oven, 375 degrees. That's what you're looking for, so we're right on time. All right, just feel them out. I felt like that's too big. And just make sure they're touching the surface of the pan. Just like that. Now I feel I can probably get this last potato in, so why not? I'm just gonna chop a couple of them smaller so I can get this last one in. So here's my last one. I might have to cut this one just a little bit smaller. They're all gonna cook even. Keep them about the same size, they're gonna cook even in there, so don't worry about that. But the smaller you get them, the less time it'll take to cook these down. It's just, there's gonna be a lot of little guys in here. And they won't be big gigantic potatoes if you cut them down a lot smaller, so you just gotta have to work with smaller potatoes. All right, there we go. So we got that on there like that. We're gonna take some olive oil, sprinkle it around. Decent amount of that olive oil. This is that rub that we made, so we're going to use the rest of that just to sprinkle that on. Get it all sprinkled around in there. Now that you got that sprinkled, we got some rosemary here. This is fresh. We're going to get this onto the bench. Man, you could smell the aromatics coming off of this. I'm just going to chop up some rosemary. Get it fine chopped. And just keep chopping. All right, there you have it. So we're going to sprinkle that rosemary in. Get it nice and evenly coated. And now what we'll do is just give this a toss. And just mix it all up. let's just get this on top of here. And there it is. That's why you want a lot of oil in here, because they're pretty much gonna bake in that oil, and just get them all down on the bottom here. So just kind of take your hand and just work them and get them flat. Just make sure they're evened out. And the ones like this, too big, I'm just gonna feel around and cut them. If they're not going in, I'm just gonna cut them. Just get them smaller. Like that one, cut it a little bit smaller until they all fit in here. I kind of went overboard with that extra potato, so just make up for it. Things happen when you cook. Nothing's planned. You think you're gonna plan a cook and things are gonna turn out the way you want it every single time? Not gonna happen. I've been cooking for a lot of years and there's never a cook that just goes smoothly. There's always something that'll pop up on you, and you just make up for it. All right, that's it. In the oven, 375, and we're gonna meet you back here to show you the rest of this, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, potatoes are in the oven. We cut up all of our vegetables. I'm just gonna show you a broader look of what we're working with. So we got all of our vegetables cut up, as I said. Now, these are the mushrooms. We're using these mushrooms to make a nice sauce to go over top of that steak. So we got the mushrooms here. I just dropped a little rosemary inside there, just so I don't forget that gets rosemary. I got some onions over here, 2 different types of onions. I got some red and some white. And here's our cauliflower. So our cauliflower is our cauliflower, but we just wanna do something to punch this up, make it not boring. So we got some bacon over here we're gonna add into this cauliflower. But going back to that mushroom sauce, we're using a marsala today and butter to make that mushroom sauce. And that's what we're gonna do. So let's just cut up this bacon. And this bacon is gonna go inside the cauliflower. Now we're not gonna leave these big strips on, but this bacon has the rind on. I cured this myself, and what I'll do is just take off the little bits of the rind. But I save these bits of the rind because I put enough fat on here, and I save the rind in case I need to put them inside things like string beans or whatever else I'm going to use them on. So I'll save these pieces of the rind and freeze them. So that's what you want to do. All right, so we're going to get the cutting on here, and then we're going to meet you out on the cooker. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so we got our bacon going. And it's doing pretty good. Now you just want to render this down on low heat. Nothing crazy. I'm just bringing out all the flavor of that bacon first. And then I'm going to jack my heat up as I go along. So this is the flame you want. It's about a medium flame. That will be high. That's about medium right there. And that's what you want. And if you guys are on an electric stove, move the pan. So cook with your pan on high and just move the pan. So we're gonna get some flavor out of here. Let's just get that onion in with the bacon. Just like that. I'm going to hold back that cauliflower because I don't need the cauliflower quite yet. And I'm just going to get most of that bacon in there. So we'll just take out that little piece of cauliflower there. That one too. Just get that out of there. And I'm just going to go in mostly with the onion. The other onion that's left in here, if you have any pieces that's left in here, it'll just flavor at the end. So there we go with that. Give that pan a toss and start cooking the onion down with your bacon. There we go. Now the nice thing about this, you could just set this to the side and keep it warm. Put a lid on it and you'll have it ready for dinner. It's almost like a warm salad. Doesn't have to be served piping hot. That's the nice thing about cooking summertime dishes, and that's what we're doing right now. Just cooking up a little summertime dish. All right, so now we're gonna get our sauce going. So I'm gonna turn my eye on. This is tallow. This is the good stuff. You don't want to use Crisco or anything else like that. Especially don't use anything that's hydrogenated. If you're going to use one of these oils, use a good one. So we're going to let this heat up, and with our vegetables we go, and then we're going to meet you guys right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, time to get in the mushrooms and the onions. So in we go, all of it. Now you're going to need a big enough pan for this guy. This is a lot of it. I'm going to put this on medium heat and just let them cook down. All right, here's our cauliflower. And we're coming over here with our cauliflower into this beautiful bacon and onions. And now we just want to add our cauliflower in, just like that. And let's start cooking that down. Now most people that do cauliflower, they do it boring, or they'll boil it, take all the life out of it. I mean, we're in the South. Everything gets sugar, bacon, and grease, and more grease. And if you cook with healthy grease, like our tallow that we're using, and use the good fat, you never have to worry about that. So, there we go. We're gonna let this cook down. Let all this cook down as well too. These nice vegetables over here with the mushrooms and the onion. Make our sauce, and we should be just in time to get those steaks on. Don't go anywhere. All right, so our cauliflower is cooking down, and we're still working with it. You see those nice little browning marks on the top there? That's what you want. So you want to get that cauliflower nice and browned up. Get it caramelized, get all that flavor in. Then we're going to deglaze this with a little wine and get all that flavor up from the bottom. But that's what you want. Nice easy heat, and let it go. And here's our mushrooms and our onion. Now look at all that water in there. You can see all that water in there. So high heat, that's why we got this jacked up on high. We're gonna cook all that water out of there. And while we're doing that, we're gonna go in with a little black pepper. These are cracked black pepper. You can see the corn on here. Look how big that corn is. That's what you want in there. We're going with a good amount of that. There's some rosemary and sage. That butter is going to finish this off at the end. So we're going to go with some rosemary, some sage there. Just right into it. And just give that a little stir. Just flip that around. Just make sure it's all incorporated. All right, we're gonna cook out all this water, finish this up. As you can see, our coals are getting nice and hot for those steaks that are out here. And then we're gonna meet you guys back here in a little bit, so don't go anywhere. All right, cauliflower's doing good. Now what I'm gonna do now is jack the heat up a little bit on the cauliflower. And a little touch of wine. That's going to bring up all those nice bits from the bottom. And just deglaze that pan. Just like that. Bring everything up. Now, for these vegetables over here, I'm going to hit these with the marsala. There we go. A little bit more. And let's get some flavor on these guys and flame these guys up. All right. We're going to put these on low, both of them, and just let them cook down. Very easy. All right. Our grill's going. I'm going to finish these two off, let these cook really slow, then we're going to get these steaks on, so don't go anywhere. All right, time to get this cauliflower out of here. And into the bowl we go. Just like that. Beautiful, right? So for you guys that don't know how to cook cauliflower, there you go. Perfect. And the bottom of that pan is nice and caramelized. And you can see all that in there. See, this just comes right off. If you do this right, look at that. You could just scrape that right off. So that's not burnt. That's just caramelized. And if I wanted to put all that in there with some more wine, I could have got all that out. See? That's it. All right, we're going to meet you right back here, get this inside. So don't go anywhere. All right, time to finish up these mushrooms. We're going to go in with unsalted butter. Now, if you're using salted, don't use salt like I'm doing. So I'm going in with just a pinch of salt. We put our black pepper in. So at this point, we're all set. I'm just going to let this butter melt in and get it down in here. And just let it gently cook in so you don't burn the butter. At this point, we're just getting everything super soft. And that's it, to go over top of that steak. You just want this to lay on top of that steak. And that's what you want. Everything's just going to be silky smooth and super soft on here. We'll meet you right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, time to get these steaks on. So I'm just going to jack my fire all the way up to the top. Get it as close to that meat as I can. And then on we go with it. Just like that. There we have it. I'm just going to brown up all the sides, and then I'm going to go on the indirect side with this. And then we'll meet you back here. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. Alright, we're just going to show you these mushrooms and onions and what that butter did to them. So the butter made them just smooth and silky. Created a little gravy that was in there as well too. So this way we have those to go on these steaks. Now speaking of steaks, what we got to do is salt them. So now that we got these cranking out like this, I always salt my steaks on the grill. So salt. Again, just one side. Now I put some on inside, but I'm only doing one side outside for steaks this thick. And turn over. And get those over in it. Burn off all that fat that's in there as well too. So I just hit them again with that one side of salt just before I go over with them so it melts in. And that's it. That's all the salt that I use. If you want, you guys can salt both sides again. So I did the light layer right before they were about to go on, and I hit them again 2 seconds before I flipped them over to the other side. And that's it. We'll meet you back here. Don't go anywhere. All right, our steaks are charring up, so while they're going, let's just get our nice mushroom sauce into the pan. Just like that. Now we got our nice mushroom sauce ready to go in here for these nice steaks. All right, there's our sauce, and let's get on these steaks. I'm going back over on this side again because I like my steaks blackened. And I'll leave them there for a couple of seconds. Then I'm going to crank the heat all the way down. Burn up all that nice fat that's on there. I love that charred fat that's on there. So Couple of seconds on this side. Let all that fat char up. Pick them up and put them like this. On that side. Over to this side they go. On that side for a couple of seconds. Over on this side they go. And what I'll do is I'm just going to lower my flame down and close the hood. Now they're cooking from the inside out. We'll stick around. Don't go anywhere. Time to pull these. All right. Look at those. They're looking right. All right. We're going to pull these in, let them rest for about 10 minutes. We'll meet you back here. Don't go anywhere. All right, here we are, season 3's chopping block. Steak and fresh harvest veggies. Let's show you what we got. Look at those. Beautiful. Now we let these rest for about 15 minutes. That's how long you want to let this rest, especially if they're thicker. You want to let it rest a little bit longer. Now, let's get this plated up, but first we'll show you everything that we did today. Here are those nice mushrooms. An onion. Beautiful, right? Look at that. And that butter sauce. That just made a beautiful butter sauce in here. Here's our cauliflower with that bacon. And here's our roasted potatoes. We've made a little pita bread on the side here to have this. So we're going to start to plate up and show you what this looks like on a plate. And how I will plate this. So the first thing I'll do is I'll get my steak on the plate. This way I have room. I'm going to park that right off to the side like that. I'm going to get some potatoes on here and just bring them over. You can't go wrong with roasted potato with this dish because it just makes the whole dish. And the potatoes just go so well with this. So we got some roasted potato here. Let's get a little bit more on there. Can't go wrong with too many potatoes, right? Go a little bit more. And now, that cauliflower. Let's just get that in there. And look at that. That just came out beautiful, that cauliflower. That's how you want that, nice and caramelized. And you got that bacon in there. I mean, you can't go wrong with this one. Believe me, if you guys try this one, you'll be shocked. All right, and here is our mushrooms. An onion. I'm going right on the top of the steak with that. And just smother it in. Just like that. And you never go wrong with too many mushrooms. Just dripping down on there. Now that is a beautiful southern plate. We'll just top that off. Just a little greenery on top. And there you have it. Look at that. All right, let's get a taste of this one and see how this is. So first thing we'll do is we'll get into some of these veggies. So let's try some of these veggies. Some of that bacon. Outstanding. And that bacon just sets this off. The fresh cauliflower. And you definitely need to deglaze that pan and get all that flavor up from the bottom. That's why you taste all those onions. Let's see what the steak tastes like. Get a nice piece of this steak off of here. Look at that. Medium rare. Perfect. Let's get some mushrooms. Let's give that a shot. outstanding. I mean, those mushrooms and onions, I mean, it's old school. Let's just set that off. You definitely want to give that a shot. Try that potato too. Doesn't get any more southern than this. All right, we're gonna clean up and meet you right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, and there it is. A beautiful grilled ribeye steak. Grilled to perfection. We grilled that with some beautiful vegetables. Mushrooms and onions on top. You're definitely gonna wanna have to try that cauliflower and that bacon. That's must. And those potatoes roasted in the oven. Can't have steak without potatoes. And there it is. All right, if you like this video and more videos about to come, don't forget to give a like, hit that bell, this way you get all those videos first. Thank you, we enjoyed you coming, and with no further ado, gotta get a little Pitmaster taste there.